My name is Angelina Tan, and my TED Talk that I will be doing today is on the mentally disabled homeless population, a public health issue. That is me during a hypomanic episode. I have bipolar 2. I was diagnosed in the beginning of this year. And I remember going out of the psychiatrist's office and driving back home with my mom. And I looked out the window and I saw a homeless woman who was flailing her arms. She was talking to herself, and she just looked visibly distressed. And I told my Mom, if I didn't have the resources that you can provide for me, if I didn't come from a middle-class family, I would have been just like her. And that is why this issue is important. Here are the statistics. In the US, there are 552,830 homeless people. 13,000 die every year, and about a quarter of these people have mental illness. However, estimations range from this number to even 2/3. So how can we combat this? Well, I have created an intervention plan called We Have Stories Too, or WHST. It follows the trans-theoretical or the stages of change model. The first portion is where the individual doesn't feel that living off the streets is possible for them. They can't imagine a life without living on the streets. The second portion is they know that living on the streets is unsafe for them, but they feel that the help is hard to find, especially with their mental disorder. The third phase is them acknowledging that they will seek the help soon. The fourth, they have finally advocated for themselves. They have sought medical care and they have a proper shelter. The next, they have lived in housing, they have become integrated back into society with employment opportunities, and this lasts for about 6 months is when they can transition from that phase to that phase. And the last is where they actually feel good about this point in their lives, and they feel that living on the streets is something that is far behind them. And to get a breakdown using the logic model, along with the trans-theoretical model, we have to start using a creation of existing organizations. We can create drop-in centers from a completely new organization funded by the government, housing, getting the community and city council involved, which is a huge aspect of this, increasing employment opportunities, and really just making sure that the voices of these people are heard because they have stories too. So the first phase, which is the pre-contemplation phase, this is probably the hardest phase because in this phase you have to get the individual to overcome and move to the contemplation phase. And this needs volunteers and organizations that know and understand how to work with people with mental illness. And some of these organizations include Step Up. And Step Up not only works with these individuals with mental illness, but they also fight chronic homelessness as well. And advertising, an easy way to access help and where help can be found, can be accessible through drop-in centers. They can be featured on billboards, in newspapers, word of mouth, just any way to get these people from the pre-contemplation phase to the next phase, which is the contemplation and preparation phase. And this phase, we will utilize the creation of drop-in centers. These can be located at homeless shelters. They can be in cities where homelessness is more prevalent, such as in Los Angeles and in New York City. And these drop-in centers can connect these individuals with housing and medical care. And they should also exhibit trained personnel to guide the individuals every step of the way to make sure that they're ready for the next phase, which is the action phase. And in this phase, rapid rehousing and psychiatric care is necessary. So The rapid rehousing can be government funded and through various organizations such as the National Alliance to End Homelessness and the Homeless Emergency Assistance and Rapid Transition to Housing, or HERT. And psychiatric care can be done by leveraging Medicaid. And I would also like to point out and emphasize how healthcare personnel should be trained to approach, to talk to, and to treat these individuals as people who are human beings and who have stories to tell. The next phase is the maintenance phase, and this is where we should integrate these people back into society, and they should also keep up with their medical help. So in order to make sure that they feel a part of society, employment opportunities should be increased. And to do this, a database that is intuitive and easy to access and use can be created. And it can contain employment opportunities in the local area as well as an easy to fill out application to these jobs. And these drop-in centers, the database can be found at drop-in centers who, with the help of active personnel to assist these individuals, as well as computers and the technology necessary. The supplemental security income and social disability insurance can also be ways to initially increase the income of these individuals before they can get on their feet again. And healthcare providers should most definitely continue to reach out to these individuals by doing monthly or bi-monthly checkups, just to make sure that they are staying on course with the plan. And the last phase is termination, which is the ultimate goal, really. We want to make sure that the individual feels happy with this point in their life. They don't want to return to the streets. And this can be done with the help of the psychiatrists and doctors, as their right medications will be, they are able to find the right medications and have a good structure to support their lifestyle. Support groups are also key, and this can be found through organizations such as the People Concerned and through friends and family members. And once the individual reaches this phase, they will be logged into a system that keeps track of every successful individual, just so we can start to understand how effective this intervention plan really is. And one last point to this plan is prevention. We can't move into a society that ends homelessness without preventing it. And to do this, we have to target adolescents with mental disorders who are especially susceptible to becoming homeless, spreading awareness on this and stopping the stigma. And a key point is access to better education in low-income areas. Now, this is crucial. Education quality in these schools should also provide better accommodations that will support and help the student. And I want to remind you to never lose hope. And although this issue feels far from being solved, these are some statistics that can lift that up. The overall homeless trend in the United States is going down. The percentage of permanent housing intervention has increased by 450% in the last 5 years, and 65% of homeless people live in homeless shelters. This is a quote that Maya Angelou said. She said, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you." I want to remind you that mentally disabled homeless people are people too. They have stories, and if you just listen to them, and if you help deliver the help that they need, you might find that their story is beautiful too, like yours. These are some extra resources. Thank you for coming to Ray Tech Talk.